Today we'll be talking about Frozen. Frozen is a girls' movie. So if you're a girl and if you like Frozen, the same thing with Powerpuff Girls, then it's okay for you to like it. But if you're a boy and you like Frozen, there is something mentally retarded going on in like your freaking brain, because Frozen animation looks unrealistic. It's not realistic. The main characters are these two princesses and this walking snowman that doesn't want to like that. And the worst thing about Frozen is basically the music. Like, the worst song definitely is "Let It Go" and "You Want to Build a Snowman." Those are the worst songs I've ever listened to, besides like One Direction, like the Mega Man 2 songs, like the whole Mega Man 2 soundtrack. And Frozen is just for idiots, and it's for girls and perverts, because the main characters are all basically girls, female characters, because that's all its audience for Frozen is. And if you like Frozen, there's something, unless you're a girl, or unless you enjoy watching terrible, uninteresting things, I'll actually mention a few movies that are better and more realistic than Frozen. The first movie is Jurassic Park. It's more realistic because the characters look more realistic. Stuff like Biggie Dinosaur's back alive is like 10 times more realistic than anything that happens in Frozen. Like, somebody snow wherever you want, or making ice by touch. That is not realistic. That is not something that could happen in real life. It's not realistic. It's made for 2-year-olds and girls. That's why it's made for like 2-year-olds too, because like for like 4-year-olds and 2-year-olds who have not had any enjoyment out of anything else. Like, Frozen is not enjoyable. It's not new. It's not interesting. It's not unique. Like, it's a ripoff of Rise of the Guardians. Obviously, is better than Frozen. Big Hero 6 is better than Frozen because it's way more realistic than Frozen. It's far more cooler than Frozen. It's far more cooler than Frozen, or Phasing, or Teasing, or Peasing, or however it should be called, because Frozen is gay, it's terrible, it's a ripoff of freaking like Snow White. It's a ripoff of like everything. It's basically everything wrong with modern movies. Like, it's everything wrong with modern movies besides. But Frozen is tied with another movie that came out a year later called Divergent, which Divergent is a ripoff of like Hunger Games mixing with like Crisis. Which Crisis is a game by EA, but nobody. I don't need to stop. I'll stop talking about Divergent. I'll stop talking about Divergent because we all know that Divergent was terrible, anyways. The feedback, of course, it was negative. The only people who didn't give negative feedback are like the 5-year-olds and perverts and girls who basically praise this movie as like a pinnacle and like the best thing in the universe. And like, it's not new. We see that it's been done that. And don't like call me gay. That's because I don't like female protagonists, because that is not wrong. Because I do obviously like female characters, but Frozen, this is like, the characters are annoying, they're selfish, they're bratty, they're evil, they're mean, they're terrible. Frozen just has terrible characters. Olaf's not funny. Like, people who saying Olaf is funny is like coming from the same people who said Earthbound is funny, which Earthbound is not even hilarious. Earthbound has no good jokes. It's not hilarious. It's not new. It's not interesting or unique.